All right, all right. Welcome everybody to this call. This is going to be a very special call or very special YouTube video. If you're new to my page, my name is Jefferson Ortiz. I am a real estate wholesale, real estate investor based out of Hamilton. We've wholesaled all over Canada and expanded out to the US, and we also built a portfolio of properties. In today's video, stick to the very end. We have a special surprise, but today's video is going to be one that's very deep to my heart. And what we're going to be talking about today, what we'll be covering today, is why I walked away from a six-figure career to build this real estate wholesale empire that we built. So if this is who you are, if this is you're in a situation, you're in a career where you're not quite sure if that's the right path, and you want to know if there's more out there, stick to the very end. This is going to be a very, very special video here. So if you're new to the page, again, you already know who we are. Make sure to like, follow us, and subscribe. We're all about helping other Canadians and other people, even just outside of Canada, who want to learn how to wholesale real estate and build a successful business. All right. Now, this video isn't just about why I quit my job and why we started this career, but it's also how I discovered wholesale real estate in Canada and why I believe it could change. Why I believe it could change my life, and why I still believe it is one of the biggest and greatest opportunities for Canadians or anybody who wants to build something of their own. Okay. So again, this is what we're going to be covering today: is why I quit a six-figure career to pursue wholesale real estate. So first thing I want to do, I guess before I get there, is I want to actually share with everybody the email that I actually had sent to my previous boss. And before I kind of go there, I guess I'll give you guys a little bit of history. Before I got into real estate, I was working as an insurance broker. And basically what had happened is my wholesale business had kind of taken off while I started this career. Or while I had this book of business that I managed. I used to manage a $3 million book of business. And so I was managing that portfolio, and I was starting this wholesale real estate career while I also had a family and a kid. My wife was pregnant with her child there. So it was a lot going on at the same time. And what ended up happening is that because of the real estate and the wholesaling kind of taking off, I was spending a lot more time in there. And so I had a couple back-to-back meetings with, I guess, my boss at the time. And he had put me on this trial period where basically if I didn't hit my quotes and I hit it, and if I didn't perform better, they basically were going to let me go. After I had built it basically from 0 to 3 million book of business in a matter of 3.5 years. All that hard work, everything that I put into it meant nothing, basically. And so it was really, when I got that email from them, and I went through that, period where I had to perform very, very much at the very top, or if not, I would get fired. It really made me think that having a job, working for somebody else is not as safe as most people think it is. It's not as, it's not as comfortable as most people make it out to be, right? You work for somebody else and you're at their mercy. And especially with today's technology, with AI, people are getting let go left, right, center. If you're in Canada, the unemployment rate is through the roof right now, and more people are getting let go on a daily basis. So there's, you got to take full control of your destiny. But that's what had happened, just to kind of bring you guys up to speed of what I'm about to show you next. So that's what had led to where we are now. And then what I'm going to be showing you is going to be a really cool email here. And I mean, I'm blown away by what I had sent, but I meant every word of that. So this was my resignation email, right? So after this had happened and I had experienced what I had experienced, basically at that point, I had made a decision. I've already done a little bit of wholesaling. I've made some money, and I said, you know what? I got to bet on myself. I got to bet on what I can do, what I can achieve. And so this was the email that I sent out. So I'll read it out slowly, but it's been quite the journey. But so here's the email that I sent to my boss at that time. I said, hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. And keep in mind, this is before ChatGPT. So this is all worded by me. So you might see some spell mistakes there, but hello, everybody. I hope all is well with you. I just want to start by thanking you for bringing me on board and trusting me when I started working. I have grown and I learned some valuable skills in this job. However, last time when I was on probation period, I did not enjoy or like that somebody else had somebody else had control over my financial success and or my family's. At the end of the day, it's a job, and my mindset has seen the real side of entrepreneur, and I simply cannot go back to exchanging my time for money. I thought I could grow this business, but with the lack of support from customer service, it does not allow me to grow. So in return, I'm actually going backwards. And there doesn't seem to be any change happening, as your guys' expectation is someone to be there to answer the phone and deal with people's issues. If I can recommend anything to you guys, is to try and support your brokers more when it comes to customer service. It will help you, the client, and the broker at SureX. My mindset, it would help broker at the SureX. My mindset in growth in creating. So with that being said, I am retiring from my position effective today. Over the next few days, I will be putting all my personal information into a Google Drive and will be returning the monitors and tools will be given to Adam to bring into the office. I am pursuing my path as a real estate investor, and I cannot waste any more time making somebody else rich. I wish SureX lots of success and growth. And if we come across if we come across each other later on, I will speak very highly of the people in the company. Thank you for all. Jefferson Ortiz, and licensed insurance broker. So, I mean, keep in mind that before I send this email out, it took a lot of courage. It was very scary. You know, I'm a father of 2 kids and married, so I had a lot of responsibilities. And it was one of the riskiest, I guess you could say risky, but not riskiest, but one of the scariest moments of my life, my career. And this was the email that I had sent out to them, explaining them my position, and that, and essentially that I had quit this job and I was going to go all in real estate. So again, I just want to share this because this was a life-changing moment for me, and this is the moment that I stopped asking for permission to build my future. So very scary moment, but this was the email that I had sent out. And again, it was just the lack of control of my future, my financial, situation. It was all on somebody else's hands, and I just could not continue. Now, going to the next slide here. Now, like many people, right, I did what everybody tells you to do, right? I went to school. I went to college for insurance. I graduated. I worked really hard. And then, I hit corporate, I guess you can call it corporate Canada, corporate America, I guess. So again, I went to school, followed the path, study hard, earn good grades, and did what I thought I was supposed to be doing, which was to get a safe job, in the financial industry, which was insurance. So again, get a job, work a 9 to 5, work for somebody else, get a stable position, climb the corporate ladder. And, I was earning at that point well over 100,000 per year. So, stay secure and stay comfortable, like most people do it, right? But security, that feeling that at any point everything can be taken away from me and without any really care, I just couldn't do it. So the security wasn't enough, right? Again, I followed every rule, reached every milestone, yet something fell missing, right? The security was real, but so was the ceiling. I felt like I had gotten to the point in my career where I couldn't advance any further, no matter how hard I worked, because as I was selling insurance, I was also having to manage that book of business. So it just got to the point where I just couldn't keep up. And again, at that time, I had started my other wholesale business, and that was taking off at the same time. So, like many people say, I had to burn the ships and go all in. But again, I followed the regular path that most people follow: go to school, get a job, work a 9 to 5, try to climb the corporate ladder. And what I can tell you is that path maybe used to work back in the day, but that path no longer works in today's environment, with today's bills, with today's inflation, and with today's technology. That's just not the path that is the right path, in my opinion, for most people, right? So again, I followed what everybody tells you to follow and did what everybody tells you to do. Now, again, I was successful in my career, but still I was limited, and I was working trying to build somebody else's business, which in this case was an insurance company that I ended up selling a few years later for like $90 million. But I was just a piece of the company, a very small piece. Again, I was successful. I was making good money, but I was not fulfilled inside of myself. I was not fulfilled. I was not chasing. I was not growing. I was not building anything that was mine to be built. So again, I still had to ask for permission, whether I want to take a day off, whether I want to take a vacation. So I had to always ask for permission, and I really didn't like asking for somebody else to take my wife out for the day, or taking my kids on a vacation. I always had to ask for permission, and that was something that just never sat right with me. I just always thought to myself, why? It's not like I'm in elementary school. I have to ask. Like, why do I have to ask for permission? But that is just how corporate or a 9 to 5 is, right? And again, no shots at people that are working 9 to 5. I totally respect you. I've been there myself, but you should always be looking to better yourself in other ways within your career. So again, someone else's system, income depends on someone else's rules, and the moment they don't need you, then you get let go, because again, you're just as valuable to the company as you are at that moment. But the moment things change, the moment the company wants to downsize, then you're at their mercy. And I just could not fathom that being my reality. Couldn't build my team. That was a big one with the company I used to work at. I wanted to bring in some customer service management people to manage the customer service so I could focus on sales. The issue was that the brokerage rules at the time, the insurance company I used to work at, wanted me to handle everything from customer service to underwriting to all different type of things. So they were putting more workload on me, which then internally stopped me from growing and making more sales. So I couldn't create, even though I knew that was the path that I needed to take, I couldn't build a team. They would not allow me to build a team. So I was in a bit of a situation where I couldn't grow, but I couldn't expand, or couldn't grow. And there's a saying out there: if you're not growing, you are dying. And internally, I think that's what kind of happened to me. Now, this one I think is probably one of the most important ones, which was that my family's future was tied to my paycheck and to my job, right? So that was just something that didn't sit properly with me. Having somebody else full control over my family and my financial situation, it was just not something that I could continue. So again, very successful on the outside, but internally, I just wanted to build something. I wanted to create my own company. I wanted to make my own money. And that was just something that I wasn't able to achieve. And that's something that most people are not able to achieve unless you have your own business, unless you start your own business, unless you buy a business, unless you're the founder or the CEO. It's not something that I can simply explain to people. It's just, there's no feeling like it. Now, for most people, if you are able to start into this business and go all in all, then great. I personally wasn't in that position, like many people. And I usually even encourage people to start off, whether you have a job, whatever you're doing, do this on the side. That's what I did. And then eventually this business will make you more than your whatever job you're working at. At that point, then you can make that transition. So that's what I did. I did not just jump in and quit my job right away. So what I did is I began with wholesaling while still being self-employed. So full-time insurance broker, full-time dad, full-time husband, and then also was building a full-time career. So it was not easy. I had to wake up early. I had to go to sleep late. I'd finish my insurance job. Let's say I work a 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 7, 5 to 8, I'd be out there knocking on doors, trying to get this business, make offers, do whatever I had to do to get this business off the ground and started, right? So the second thing I did is I obviously learned the business, studied contracts, sellers, buyers. I completed, I think it was about 5, or it could have been more, 5 wholesale deals, and proved to myself that this business worked. Now, if you guys know anything about my story, I hired a mentor back in 2021. I paid him $15,000, which at that time was very scary. It was a lot of money. Still is a lot of money today. But I ended up using my wife's line of credit to get started. And that's what basically just ramped up things. When I was able to get the guidance, the knowledge, somebody else who had done it, it was just a no-brainer to me that it was possible. And then I started doing deals, 1 deal, 2 deals, By the time I got to my fifth deal, I was like, okay, I understand this business, and I'm ready to scale it and take it to the next level. So the third point we have here is prepare, then move. Create real evidence before taking the risk, only left when the results spoke louder than the fear. So again, going back to the point, I waited until I had completed a few deals before I quit my job. Again, it will be hard. This business, like any business, it's hard, it's dedication, it's hard work, it's commitment. But when you bet on yourself, you have full control over your destiny and over the outcome of your life. When you have somebody else's, if you're trying to help somebody else accomplish their goals in terms of working for somebody else, it is just not something you have control over. You're basically at their mercy. Now, one of the biggest, I guess, things that changed in my mind was I realized money could be generated differently, right? I understood I could make money through my 9 to 5 job, the job that I had. But then when I understood wholesaling, when I learned about it, when I actually got my first wholesale deal, it completely changed my life. Because the way I started looking at it, it was just a piece of paper, right? I was literally making and still making $10,000 to $20,000 per contract for a piece of paper. Now, this is not the paper, this is a receipt, but essentially that's what it is. You're assigning contract, you're flipping contract, and therefore getting paid 10, 20, 30, 50, $100,000 for a piece of contract. That completely revolutionized the way I thought, the way I think, and the way that money actually works. It's not about, and even when I hear people tell me, I get paid this much per hour, I mean, I just can't imagine, like, I just can't think like that anymore. And I encourage folks to not think about what you get paid per hour, but what is the true value of yourself in the marketplace. In this case, wholesale and real estate, you're learning a skill, you're becoming valuable, you're helping sellers, you're helping investors find deals. Therefore, you're able to get paid these big wholesale fees because you're being valuable. You're not just, an ordinary person, like somebody who works at McDonald's. They're not as valuable to the marketplace. Therefore, they're going to get minimum wage. But the moment you become more valuable, the moment you learn skills and you understand that you're bringing value to the seller, you bring value to the buyer, that's when you're able to become very, very successful. So again, income does not always tie directly to hours worked. Skills, systems, relationships create leverage that a traditional job would never allow you to do. But again, I'm not throwing a shot at anybody who has a job. I congratulate you. I mean, it's okay. I was there before. What I have an issue with is people that don't try. And I jump on calls with people sometimes and they're like, oh, I'm not ready to make that commitment. I'm not ready. I'll let you know when I'm ready. And the reality is that you're never going to be ready. I mean, I was a dad with a pregnant wife and working a full-time job. I wasn't ready, but I took the action. I believed in myself. I took initiatives, right? And that's what I highly encourage you to do is look within yourself and ask yourself if you're fulfilled, if you're happy with where you are. If you are, by all means. But if you're seeking more, if you're seeking to be the best version of yourself, I highly encourage you to learn a skill to become valuable to the marketplace. So again, this is when everything changed for me. When I completed 4 wholesale deals and I was able to earn 1 year's full of income, that would have took me 12 months. I was able to get this done in a few months. I think it was like 2 or 3 months. It just completely changed the mindset that I had, changed the way I thought about money, because I was able to do what I do in 12 months in a couple of months between 4 deals, right? So I was like, okay, well, I can continue working an insurance job and killing myself, and my brain is being damaged because I'm working so hard and I'm trying to do so many different things. Or I can focus on this business, and if I can do this, like the way I looked at it is, if I can do this money and generate this revenue from wholesaling by itself, imagine if I put all my energy towards that and not just half energy here, half energy there. And really, that's what changed the trajectory of our career. So again, skills, systems create scale, leverage, one deal over months of labor, and then obviously value, redefined by results. Again, it's all about how you will get compensated based on how valuable you are to the marketplace. Now, I will say, and I always mention this to people, business is extremely, extremely, extremely hard. Extremely hard, right? But so is working a job and hating, what you do, or hating your paycheck and hating, the way your life is going. That is also hard. So in life, you really have to figure out is what heart do you want to choose? Do you choose the heart that it's maybe going to be tough, is going to beat you up, is going to punch you in your face, but is your business and you know that you have full control? Or do you want to work for somebody else, help them become, build their company, build their business, and you becoming a part of it? And not really having any control over your destiny, not having control over your financial future, that's also hard. So in life, you just have to choose which heart do you want to go after. And myself, I'd rather bet on myself every damn time and know that um, it may not be easy every day. It might not be, sunshine and rainbows, but I know that I have full control over my destiny, my financial future, and my family's future. There's no better feeling than working hard and getting to your goals and achieving your goals, especially when it's a hard mountain to climb. So again, freedom came with a price. So no paychecks. So nothing's guaranteed. You are what you kill, or rather, you eat what you kill. You eat what you kill. So no paycheck, no guarantee income. There might be months that are up, months that are down. But obviously, building a sustainable system and business is what we really focus on and help other people to focus on. Lost deals. Not every deal is going to get to the finish line. Some deals will get lost. Some deals will get delayed. Some sellers might the deals might not work out. Maybe you make an offer, it doesn't go your way. So there's lost deals. And what's important about that is that you have a big pipeline of potential leads and potential sellers, and have multiple deals, knowing that not every single one of them is going to make it to the finish line, right? So that's very, very, very important. Uncertainty, right? Constant pressure, personal responsibility, and continuous growth, right? So there's always going to be some challenge, something happening within your business. So there's always uncertainty, but it's kind of like a elastic band, right? The more you push it, the more you stretch it, the further it goes, right? And that's how business is, in my opinion. So, even think about working out. You don't get strong by lifting light weights. You get strong by lifting heavy weights and failing and having failure and your body failing over and over again. That's what builds strength, right? Last thing is fulfillment, right? Harder than expected, yes, but more fulfilling than you will ever imagine in your whole entire life. And I always say this, right? I'd rather get to the end of my life and know that I did everything possible, everything in my body to become successful and become the best version of myself, rather than know that get to the end of my life and know that I didn't go my whole 100%. I left, a part of me in the process, or I didn't achieve the goals that I wanted because I was scared. And that's what happens with most people. They're scared. What if it doesn't work? What if this? What if this? But what if it does? That's the real question, is what if it does work? What if it does? What if I can achieve my dreams, my goals? Now, here's the reality, and I'll leave it with this, right? You only got one life, right? And again, I talk to people all the time. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, it's too risky, or is this, or is that? But they truly don't like where they are, and they want to become the best version of themselves. And that's partially what I want to do with other people. Is I want to help you become that best version of yourself, obviously in business, in life, with your mindset, spiritually, physically. But this is the reality, guys. You get to live one life, right? And every year that passes by, you're getting closer to the end of your life, right? So the question is, how much longer do you want to keep delaying, become the best version of yourself, achieving the goals, doing everything that you said you want to achieve, right? Because again, you get one life, right? So the question that I have, if you're watching this video and this video resonates with you and you understand, and it's hopefully inspires you, your family, the people around you, the people that believe in you, they deserve the best version of you, right? Your children and your family will learn more from what you do than what you say. Okay? Your courage, right? You cannot inspire courage while constantly choosing comfort. Growth requires discomfort. Fulfillment comes from becoming more. And the last thing is your legacy. You will never inspire the people around you to become their best if you refuse to pursue the best version of yourself. And that's something that myself as a dad, right? I always look at my children and I always tell them, don't give up, keep working, pursue your dreams. Well, how can I tell them that if I'm not doing that myself? Right? If I'm not pursuing my goals, if I'm not chasing, if I'm not growing, if I'm not trying to build my own business, how can I tell my children that they can do anything, that they can pursue their dreams when I'm not doing that myself? Right? So if my two boys, Jefferson and Nicholas, if you're watching this video one day, I don't want them to remember me as someone who played it safe. I want them to remember me, their dad had the courage to chase the life I believe was possible, whether your dream is entrepreneurship, whether it's a different career, or something else entirely. I hope you have the courage to become the best version of yourself. And of course, if within all that wholesale real estate, which is what I started and what changed my trajectory of my life, is something you've been thinking about, all I say to you is I highly, highly encourage you to book a call with myself and our team. Now, again, this isn't free. So if you're hoping to get free or, hey, can I, invest from your first deal? No, we're not interested. We only are looking for the right people that are willing to invest in themselves, right? Because remember this, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, never expect anybody to invest in you. That's just a fact. So again, if this video resonated with you, if you are maybe in a position where you're thinking about changing careers, you think wholesaling could be the tool, what I would encourage you to do is book a call with ourselves and my team. Let's understand your goals, your challenges, and ultimately why is it that you want to do this, to see if we can truly help you go out and achieve your financial goals with a wholesale, with a real estate, with a multifamily, with a building a portfolio. So again, all I say is, what could your life look like if you bet on yourself and bet on your growth, right? So again, we can teach you how to learn, talk to sellers, how to underwrite deals, how to build a buyer's list, and how to make money through wholesale real estate, which then can internally open other doors and other opportunities. All right, guys. Thank you. If you're still here, I appreciate you sticking to the very end. This was a very personal and very deep to my heart presentation, because I know what it's like to be not fully fulfilled or not maybe in the right place. And I know what it's like when people don't believe in you, your family, your friends. Nobody is going to understand the journey that you're about to go on because they haven't been through it. If the people that you're getting advice from are not where you want to go, then you shouldn't be getting advice from them. You should only get advice from people that are already where you want to achieve. Okay, guys, without further ado, thank you so much. I'm going to put the link to book a call below in the comments. And then also make sure to like, follow us, and subscribe. And make sure to put a comment below with any questions and just kind of what was your favorite part of the video. Okay, guys, thank you for your time. Appreciate it, and have a wonderful day. Cheers.